Okay, we'll stop by a room on the way out. Oh.
Oh. Ah, okay.
Lacan.
Oh, sorry. Lacan.
Whoa.
Is something wrong, Faye? You look like you're daydreaming.
Huh? No, it's nothing.
So, fun fact, this room will come into play later on as well. This will be a really great lore moment for the game. I want to say the series, but not really. It's just for the game. Because remember, like, the thing you have to remember, guys, is yes, there were Xeno sequels, but they are not necessarily tied together. I do know that Tetsuya Takahashi, when he originally designed this, he did have sequels in mind. He did at least want to do one. Whether or not it would be a sequel to this or a prequel, we don't know. But he did want to do something like that. And I have a feeling that, you know, this is why he went painstakingly into trying to finalize that. Now, I want to find Sister Agnes because Satan will not let us leave unless we do.
No shame on the crowd here.
She might be upstairs. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't see any doors down here. I remember you have to go in through a door to find her. So all we have to do is just find the room with Margie in it. So just really quick, Alex, what did you think about the Nisan sect so far?
It's fascinating stuff.
The fact that they went out of their way to world build and give us something unique and interesting to look into.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of RPGs have been doing that.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like 8-bit, 16-bit, you really didn't do that because you had to keep things simplified. Already it was pretty costly as far as space, so you couldn't really get away with that. But I like the fact that from PlayStation era on, that's where you started seeing a lot more in-depth world building within RPGs. Now, some people I've talked to are just like, boring. No, that's amazing. One of the reasons I love World of Warcraft so much is because the world building in that is amazing. So, this is Agnes.
I understand you were shown Sophia's portrait. The lady portrayed in the picture is Nisan's great founding mother. Some say that it was painted at least 500 years ago.
Keep that number in mind, guys. 500 years ago. Now that is quite amazing. Personally, I find it intriguing. Do you have any historical material from that period?
In our hands, there are no such records left intact. All records and materials concerning Sophia have been lost. The portrait is the only thing left. We too do not have much knowledge about her.
Ah, that is too bad. So there really is nothing left at all.
For someone who has helped Marguerite, I would have loved to have shared them. But unfortunately, I'm unable to help here.
Oh well, none the matter. Please do not worry about it. I was just inquiring. But it does seem somewhat strange. If such a majestic building as this survived history, then it is likely a scroll or two would remain as well.
According to tradition, Sophia was present about 500 years ago. She sacrificed herself for the people, and she has been summoned to be with God. That is all I can tell you.
Ah, I see. So everything was lost in the darkness of history. Okay, so that's pretty much all you can get from Agnes. The only thing they have from Sophia's era is the portrait. So the cool part is we actually will learn a little bit more about Sophia as we go along in the game, but it's not going to be like we find an ancient archive with her stuff. It's actually going to be accounts from that era, if it makes sense. Just not written ones. So you guys will see that in a little bit, but now we need to head back to Nisan because now that we have Margie in in custody in Nisan, and she's safe. It's time for us to take our next move against Shakan.
Shakan!
Shakan! Okay, there you go.
Shakan!
Shakan! There you go. I really don't want to blow out the mics, but I will. I can. I think this is the room that we go to. Because we need to meet up with Sigurd. Do we meet here, or do we meet in the Yggdrasil? I can't remember. Oh, hold on.
Ha!
There we go. Oh, young master! Okay, so Mason. The people of Nisan were most generous to allow us to rent this house, so there will be no need to seek lodgings at the inn for a while. Also, Master Sigurd wishes a word with you regarding your next move, if he may.
Alright, so where's Sig?
The good Master Sigurd is waiting for you inside.
Okay, thanks, Mason.
Alright, so let's go and talk to Sigurd, and we're gonna get more world building, so... Sorry, Alex. Alright. Whenever I come here, it always calms my heart. Anyway, young master, I want you to work out what our plans from here on are.
Alright. But before we do that, there's something I want to ask you.
Me?
Yeah.
And we had to go to the bedroom to figure it out!
Sig. What's up with you and the Gebler officer? What's the connection between you and him? You know, you sure know a lot about Gebler for some reason.
Oh, three-way. I guess it's a three-way now. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, guys. All right. I'll tell you. Me and Seitan here. We used to live in Solaris.
Solaris? You mean, you were Geblers from?
That's right. Solaris calls foreigners lambs. They are used as manual labor. Basically, it's slavery.
Slavery?
Dun dun dun! Oh, sorry.
Is that where you met him?
Yes, it was there. We worked for the Solaris government for a short while, but we learned to dislike their methods and escaped the first chance we had.
You were friends with these people? I met you when I was a kid, and we've been together ever since then. So this would have had to happen even before then. I probably wouldn't have understood this if I had heard it earlier, but why didn't you think you could deal with it? Why did you think I could deal with it now? Surely you could have told me about this. Especially when you had something to do with those people who are back in that Shakan idiot. I wish you told me sooner.
There's nothing I can do about that now. But there's one thing I want you to believe. We left Solaris on our own will and for our own reasons. Now they've appeared before us. We can't just sit back and do nothing. If need be, I will give my life to stop them.
All right, I understand. But could you elaborate a little more?
Well, since you asked so nicely... Okay, so now we can actually go through a thread of questions. If you already know this and you're playing through, then you don't care. But I'm going to go through these so that we get all of the world building that we can.
Solaris,
so
what
go
are
ahead
lamps?
and ask it, Alex.
Who is the man? Love it. Alright. Where is Solaris? What bugs me is this. Surface dwellers. The surface dwellers thing. It says that Solaris is in another location, like up in the clouds or something. It's the Kingdom of Zeal.
It pretty much is, yeah. Yes, well...
Do 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 do.
Etranank, the capital of the Solaris Empire, is located in the skies above. Solaris is separated from the land by dimensional distortion fields known as gates.
Oh my god. This is so Chrono Trigger right now.
Passing between the two requires special means of transportation, such as an airship.
Like an epoch? Dun, 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 dun.
To get to Avad, we stowed away on a regular flight to the surface. I came much later than Sigurd did, but I also escaped in the same way. Okay, so now that we have that, what are lambs?
What are lambs?
That is the word Solarians use to indicate those who live on the Earth. As I said before, such surface dwellers or Earth dwellers are used for manual labor there. Manual labor could be anything from soldiers to administrative jobs. Solaris gathers its workforce from the land dwellers. Jobs are divided up by who is most suitable. Sometimes people are brainwashed.
Brainwashed?
When you, young master, were still an infant, I was used as a test subject. There was probably something they valued inside of me.
You too, Doc?
Oh no. I was born in the lower city levels. It is not a complete secret. But I guess I am a Solarian. You see, you still need people to run a country. No matter how scientifically advanced you are, you have no support without people. Pure Solarians are rare. They would not even make up a quarter of Avaz's total population. So they support their country by stealing surface dwellers. Okay, so already bad guys. Okay,
Right.
if you guys can't tell,
So why did you leave?
well, let's see who is that man. His name is Karon Ramses. As you know, he's the Gebler commander.
Ramses.
We call him Kar. In Solaris, there is an officer training school called Jugend. He became the commander after leaving there. He is a lower-level citizen, same as me. However, with his amazing abilities, after graduating, he rose through the ranks with unparalleled speed. That man had one ideal: to achieve a consolidation of all of his colleagues. Even land dwellers, if they had talent, were brought into the army.
So you two were picked by Ramses?
No, we were not picked by him. We aligned ourselves with him. At that time, we agreed with him. At the time, Ramses was our hope. He had high ideals and wanted to change the system in Solaris. To us test subjects and lower-level citizens, he was truly all that we wished for.
A benefactor.
Yes, even I, a test subject, was changed by his ideals. And then finally, why did you leave?
So, why is it that you wanted to flee from Solaris?
Look at this guy again. We were placed in key military positions by Ramses. And thanks to that, we came to know the relationship between Solaris and the surface dwellers.
But the lambs, right?
They weren't just using us lambs for slave labor. They also selected some of us, like me, to be used as subjects in experiments to refine their drugs. Drugs that change people's personalities to make them more aggressive, and to draw out their latent abilities. They were using us as human guinea pigs to test their psychological alteration drugs.
Human guinea pigs? Experimenting on humans?
Yes, for example, Drive. That drug and all others like it that are used now are byproducts of human experimentation. However, the role of such experimental subjects was not limited to just that.
This Drive drug is something that anyone in Solaris Army can use.
At least anyone in the Gebler forces who was sent to the surface.
You're worried about her, huh? I saw some in a room. No. Anyway, using slaves as guinea pigs. How low are these guys? Damn!
So, you can't ask this stuff again, but we understand.
I think I get most of it. Old Mason! Go reserve the town hall for us. We'll finish talking here. I'm going outside to get some fresh air. And maybe a little Brooklyn rage.
Maybe get a little bit of an exposition dump going. Alright, so you can't talk to Sigurd again. I should have been honest with him sooner. It is best not to worry about it. You did all you could at the time. The young one will understand. Okay, so all you gotta do is step outside. And I believe we'll get a cutscene right off the bat. No, we need to go look for Bart. And then... there we go. So this is the bridge where he's at.
I had no idea Sig had such a past.
It's almost like he's an anime character or something. Are you still suspicious of Sigurd?
Well, I mean, it was just so sudden. I kind of expected to hear something different, like that we were childhood rivals or something. But that's nothing compared to the story you just told us, is it?
So hearing his story has confused you, because it was not so simple. There was a time when he was cooperating with one of Gebler's generals. Furthermore, behind Gebler was a country that you had never even heard of.
Hey, what are you picking on me for?
No, I'm not picking on you or blaming anything on you. What I'm saying is this. If you think about how he feels, then you should see why he could not talk about this with you till now. Looking at the activities of Solaris towards other countries up until now, it has never gone beyond simply maintaining their own empire or self-preservation. And as you have seen, their military power is immense, so Sigurd was probably thinking ahead. First, he was probably concentrating on taking care of the problems here on the continent of Ignis. Once things were settled here, it would give him a stronger foundation to deal with Solaris later, which is a much better plan than rushing straight into a war he knew we could not win. Quite logical, really.
Sounds like you understand one another pretty well.
Well, it is not like we are newly acquainted, now is it? And we had talked about a lot of things up until we decided to escape from Solaris.
Speaking of that, why did you leave? That Ramses guy was supposed to be a star of hope or something, wasn't he?
Well, yes, I certainly thought so at first. But then I realized his way of thinking was really not that much of a change from the previous system. Basically, the only difference was whether they stressed people's rank and class or the skill. The words had changed, but it was still no different from what Solaris itself had been doing until then. He had no intentions of bringing everyone a better way of life.
In other words, he's an elitist. I don't think I like him much either. So, Saitan, do you think I can beat the Gelbler?
Why? Are you planning on fighting them?
As long as they're working with Shakan, there's no way around it. The way things are going, I'm sure we'll have to fight them sooner or later.
I suppose so, but even if we were to defeat the Gebler forces here, there's still Solaris to deal with. If we are not careful, it is possible that we may get involved in a longer war than that with Shakan. Do you not agree that continuing the way we have been going is rather hard on everyone? I think it is time we try to get help from a greater number of people.
So, defeating Shakan's not gonna get rid of the likes of Gebler. I know what you're trying to say. To vanquish Gebler, right first gain thy throne, right?
You could put it that way.
What do you mean, you could put it that way? But then again, maybe this time I did something about that. I want to fight Gebler. I got all this pent-up Brooklyn rage.
I know, right? We gotta get that Brooklyn rage out of you, man. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to, I believe it's this room? No, this is the inn. Oh, okay. I think I know where it is. So here is the item shop, and here is the town hall. So now we can plan our next move. I went to the tool shop to borrow a table. The owner said if we need anything for the young master, just ask for it.
I'm grateful. When I was a kid, I borrowed stuff from there and got in big trouble. Borrowed? What did you take? A toy boat. I think that's what it was. I put fireworks in it and let it float on the cathedral's lake. I always used to play Navy. I'm not sure, but I think I pretended the lake was an open sea. And I was the fleet commander. Anyway, forget those old stories. We should get started.
Yay! So world building aside, now let's plan our next move.
First, Gebler is the big problem.
Yes, Ramses is heading towards achieving his goals. That he is now the commander of Gebler is proof of that. A normal man could not progress so quickly through that country's organization. And now he's presently located here in Ignis. Frankly, the situation is not very favorable. We need to somehow find a weak spot and attack it with all our might. I'm thinking!
First, let's just concentrate on Shakan. Once he's out of the way and Yvette is safe again, we can think about how to deal with Gebler. With our present strength, we should be able to hold off the Royal Guard forces. The problem is how to deal with Gebler in the meantime. They will most likely move at Shakan's request. They're not just gonna sit by and watch quietly.
May I have a look there, please? In short, we want Gebler to leave for a while. At least until we're able to take back the royal capital, Ledovik. These are the Gebler units currently in Aver, correct? The Western Guards... We're playing Risk right now. The Royal Capital Defense Force... and units along the front line at the border with Kislev. There are three main groups. Each is made up of a mix of Gebler and Aver forces. Only two of these are very large. So these two in particular, the Border Guards and the Royal Defense Force. The Royal Capital's defense units and the Kislev border units. The Western Guard along the Nisan's border are little more than a surveillance team.